Gee whiz.
Happy Valentine's Day, friends. I'm John Henderson, and this is a series of old-time radio show episodes called Gee Whiz. These are the stories of the loves, and loves of the typical American teenagers, Andy Hardy, Archie Andrews, and Henry Aldrich. Coming up, Archie thinks that he's in love, and it ain't Veronica. But first, an episode of the Aldrich family. This episode comes from the war years, so there's many items that were scarce, but that doesn't mean you can't put on a nice Valentine's Day party.
Postum presents
Henry Aldrich. Coming, Mother.
The Aldrich Family, written by Clifford Goldsmith. Entertainment for all the family, brought to you by Postum, a tempting, wholesome drink for all the family. Postum. Well, friends, here it is another Thursday night, and opportunity is knocking loudly at your door, and knocking twice. First, it's your opportunity to put away your worries and cares for a half hour and relax and laugh with those grand people, the Aldrich family. And second, it's your opportunity to find out something about that equally grand mealtime drink, Postum. Why, even in looks, friends, Postum is a winner. The kind of drink you don't waste a second tilting to your lips. It has the kind of flavor you refer to in italics. It has the kind of hearty, robust goodness that warms the cockles of your heart. Now, just don't expect when you try it that Postum is going to taste like coffee any more than you'd expect coffee to taste like tea. Remember that Postum's distinctive flavor is in a class apart. It has an extra special goodness of its own that leaves you no words for description but ah, and ah again. And then, don't be surprised if you enjoy your meals far more than you did before the day you start enjoying Postum. Boys like Penrod Schofield, Tom Sawyer, and Huck Finn live in our memories because they typify the teenage youngsters all of us know. And Henry Aldrich is another of these real American boys. He lives in your block, perhaps in your own home. The scene opens in the Aldrich living room.
But, Mary, what have I done?
You know very well what you've done, Henry Aldrich. You know very well what you've done.
When?
Didn't you and Homer ask the whole crowd here to our house for a Valentine party Saturday night?
Sure, we even sent out written invitations.
But, Henry, that's the night I'm having my party.
Mary, how could you have a party?
Oh, my goodness, Henry, I've been planning on it for 6 weeks.
On a party?
Yes, for my sorority.
Oh, all right, Mary. Can't you meet at some other house?
Henry, Mother says it's my party and I can have it here at our house, and I'm not to budge an inch.
I know, but Mary...
Henry, you're wanted on the telephone.
Yes, Mother, I'll be there just as soon as I get something straightened out. Mary, how about our invitations? What are Homer and I going to do?
I'm sure I don't know. You can have your party at Homer's house.
But Mary! Hello?
Hello, Henry. This is Agnes.
Who?
Agnes, is Homer there?
No, I was just going to call and see whether he's over at your house. There's something I have to see him about right away.
Well, Henry, we're all looking forward to your party Saturday night.
You are?
And I was just wondering whether you'd mind calling Lillian Spencer and asking her to come.
Lillian Spencer?
She'd have an awfully good time, Henry.
But Agnes, I wouldn't.
What do you mean by that?
Well, besides one reason I'd rather not even mention, I'm not speaking to Lillian.
That's all right. I'd be glad to call her.
But Agnes, that'll make 13.
Henry?
Yes, Mary. Just a second, Agnes.
Homer's here.
Well, tell him to come here quick. Agnes. Oh, gee whiz.
Hey, Henry, I was just over to the bakery and ordered 4 dozen donuts.
Homer, why couldn't we throw the party at your house?
Why?
Well, your house is a lot nearer the center of town, Homer, And your heating system's a lot better than ours.
Now, listen, Henry, don't you remember the last party we threw at my house?
Oh, Homer, that was just due to an unfortunate series of circumstances.
Even so, my father hasn't gotten over it yet.
But, Homer, let me tell you. We're giving a party Saturday night, and it isn't going to be at your house, and it isn't going to be at mine. But, Mother, why not look at it this way?
I'm sorry, dear.
Alice, have you seen that piece of paper I had?
What was it, Sam?
It was a list of the members of the Rotary Club.
Father, do you have any ideas as to how we could manage it?
Henry, I haven't time to talk about anything now. I've got to go find that list.
But, Mr. Aldrich.
Henry, I'm sorry, but you may not have your party here. Please go answer the telephone.
Yes, Mother.
Henry, what are we going to do?
I don't know, Homer. Why do you keep asking me?
Because I ordered the donuts in my name.
Hello?
Hello, Henry. This is Kathleen.
Oh, hello.
I just wanted to tell you the good news.
What?
Well, I don't suppose I should tell you, but I got a new evening dress for your party.
You did? An evening... but, Kathleen, it's going to be informal.
Oh, no. Agnes phoned all of us and said it had been changed. We're to wear long dresses.
Agnes did?
Yes, Henry, and I just wanted to tell you I'm looking forward to coming.
But,
Goodbye.
Kathleen! Kathleen!
What's the matter, Henry?
Agnes is having them all dress up. Who gave her any authority like that?
You know, Henry, what we've got to do?
What?
Something about the number 13. Either we've got to get rid of one of our guests, or you or I have got to drop out.
Now, listen, Homer, you're not going to leave me flat.
Well, I was just making a generous offer, Henry. I know. Why not call Agnes and see whether she'd have any suggestions?
In what way?
Well, as long as she's showing so much interest, she might be very glad to have our party at her house.
Now, listen, Homer, we're not going to get Agnes any more mixed up in this than she is.
Henry, didn't you ever taste the lemon meringue pie her mother makes?
Yes.
And there you are. Let me call her.
But, Homer...
Hello?
Number, please.
Elm 9717.
Elm 9717.
Homer, how do you know her mother will make any pie?
Henry, why worry about that detail when you don't even have a roof over your party?
Hello?
Hello, is this Agnes?
Yes, Homer, and I'm glad you called.
You are?
Yes, I want you to go right over to Andy Morton's and get all of his records.
What for?
For the party Saturday night at Henry's.
At Henry's?
Yes, aren't you taking me?
Well, as a matter of fact, Agnes, that's what I really called you up about. Supposing it's raining real hard that night.
What about it?
Well, you wouldn't want to go out in it, would you? I mean, if it was practically the worst storm we've had all season.
What made you think of that?
You can't tell, Agnes. Suppose it even turned to sleet and froze right on you.
Oh, my, I wouldn't go out if it did that.
Well, I'm glad you'd be sensible, because I've got a wonderful solution. We're all coming over to your house.
What's that?
Ask her about the pie, Homer.
Homer, the invitation said the party was to be at the Aldrich's.
But, Agnes, why not look at it this way?
Now listen, Homer Brown.
I wonder why she doesn't come to the door.
You know, Homer, something tells me we're going to be sorry we're having the party at Agnes's house.
Henry will have a wonderful time, and it was very nice of Agnes.
But why do we have to come over a day early?
Because she said we had to come and make the plans.
Sure, that's what I mean. Homer, we know what the inside of our house looks like.
Hello.
Hi, Agnes.
Hello.
Come on in. My goodness, I'm so excited.
Yeah?
First of all, I've got a lot of ideas about things for us to eat.
Oh, Agnes, so far as the refreshments are concerned, Homer and I have taken care of everything but the lemon meringue pie.
But, Henry, what are you having?
Ginger ale and donuts.
Donuts.
Sure. We just ordered 4 dozen.
4 dozen?
Sure.
But, my goodness, 4 dozen?
Well, Agnes, that isn't so many. As a matter of fact, I was just thinking we ought to double the order.
Sure.
But, boys, I don't like donuts.
But I do.
All right, my goodness, why worry over a little thing like donuts? Naturally, we can decide a thing like that later on. Now, here's the living room.
Oh, yes, yes.
The first thing you want to do is move the piano down to the other end of the room.
Move it?
Move it?
Yes, and you might as well do it now, while I tell my mother to bake a couple of cakes, in case we don't have donuts.
What's that? In addition to the lemon meringue?
Of course.
Oh, gee whiz, Agnes. Naturally, I'd move your piano any place you want
And
it.
so will I.
And Agnes, are we glad you can come to our party here?
Well, thanks, fellas. It was certainly very nice of you to ask me. And would you do me a favor?
Sure.
Sure. What is it?
Would you mind if I asked Gertie Parker to come Saturday night? She doesn't get invited to many parties.
Gertie Parker.
Gertie Parker? Oh, boy.
I'm glad you mentioned her. I'll call her right now.
Listen, Homer, who mentioned her?
But, Henry, why should you object to Gertie Parker when you're getting a wonderful room like this thrown in with her? Come on, let's move the piano.
Okay, but my heart isn't in it.
Push.
Push yourself.
Keep her going.
Push.
Now, wait a second, Henry.
That's what I say. Homer, after we get this taken care of, how about our moving that picture that's on the wall?
Well, what's the matter with it? That's Agnes's father.
It is?
Sure. Come on and push.
Push yourself. Oh, gee whiz.
Boys, may I ask just what you think you're doing?
Wait. Hello, Mrs. Lawson.
Henry Aldrich, I'd like to ask you again what you're doing.
Wait, we're just
Getting ready for the party.
What party?
ours. Here. Hadn't you heard?
And we want you to know, Mrs. Lawson, we're very grateful.
Boys, will you both please leave this house?
Yes, ma'am. Without, oh, gee whiz.
And I have a good notion to call both your parents.
Oh, you don't have to bother about anything like that. We're going right away, Mrs. Lawson.
Kathleen, tell me once more. When you called Henry, just what did he say?
Agnes, he said he had no desire whatever to discuss the matter.
And he said that I tried to boss their whole party?
Yes, Agnes, that's exactly what he said.
But I don't see why he should blame me, Kathleen, for something my mother did.
And I stuck up for you. I told him you didn't mean to be bossy.
My goodness, I was never so embarrassed in my life. I'll never be able to face Homer again.
I know, but I don't know why Henry should be so mad at me.
At least, Kathleen, I did one thing. The minute I realized my mother wouldn't bake anything for them, I called the bakery and doubled their order for donuts.
Really?
And, Kathleen, as a matter of fact, I have an idea.
What is it?
First, where's your telephone? My goodness, when I get through, Henry and Homer will come around on bended knees and apologize.
Hello?
Doesn't she answer?
I'm ringing your number.
Homer, when you went back to get your hat, what did Mrs. Lawson say?
She didn't say anything. She wouldn't even let me in.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm never going to darken the Lawson door again.
And I hope you don't think I'm going to.
I'm ringing your number.
Thank you.
Henry, when you see your mother, tell her I found the list.
The what, Father?
The list of members of the Rotary Club I was looking for.
Hello?
Oh, well, gee whiz. Hello, Aunt Harriet. This is Henry.
Hello, Henry. What is it you want? I've got to get back to the kitchen.
Aunt Harriet, how would you like to... Have you got a full day Saturday?
No, not especially. Did your mother want me to come over for dinner?
Well, if I could arrange it, could you?
Well, what did you call me for?
Why, I wanted to know whether I could borrow something.
What?
Your house.
What's that?
Oh, Aunt Harriet, I have to give a party that evening, see? And gee, if I could arrange it so you wouldn't have to be there, Aunt Harriet, would you be interested?
Why, I might.
You might?
Oh, boy.
I'll let you have the party at my house, Henry, provided you don't invite that awful Homer Brown.
Oh, but Aunt Harriet!
Tompkins?
Yes.
Well, this is Agnes Lawson. Do the ladies in your church serve suppers sometimes?
Oh, my, yes. We have beautiful equipment downstairs, right off the Sunday school room.
Well, could you serve a little Valentine supper tomorrow night?
Why, I guess we could.
Agnes, Henry, and Homer haven't any money.
Kathleen, just a minute, Mrs. Tompkins. Kathleen, the food they serve wherever they have it is going to cost something, isn't it?
Yes.
Then why not let it go toward the church and make it worthwhile?
Oh, all right.
Hello, Mrs. Tompkins.
Hello.
Do you suppose you could serve something that wouldn't cost hardly anything?
Oh, I guess we could. Something as simple as a bowl of soup and maybe sandwiches and a rice pudding.
Yes.
Well, we're awfully anxious to raise some money for the new organ, and I'm sure the ladies will be more than glad to.
Hello?
Hello. Is this Miss Harriet Breyer?
Yes.
Harriet, this is Mrs. Tompkins.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Say, I've got some good news about the organ.
The organ?
Yes, the one we're raising money for at the church.
Oh.
A young lady just phoned and wanted to know whether we could have a little dinner for her, a little party tomorrow night.
Good. How many are you going to serve?
Well, I told her it wouldn't be worth our while unless we had at least 40.
Good.
And she said she'd see to it there were at least that many, and she might be able to round up 50.
Well, I'm awfully glad to hear that. That organ we have now bothers me every Sunday.
Aunt Harriet, do you suppose you could be one of the ladies that'll help serve?
Tomorrow night?
Yes.
Oh, I would. I'd be glad to, only I just this minute got through inviting some people over here for a party tomorrow night.
Oh?
Yes, I'm going to give a little surprise party for my nephew, Henry. I know he wants one.
Oh.
And I'm asking in quite a few. Mrs. Tarbell said she could come if it wasn't too slippery for her bad leg.
Really?
And another person I'm going to ask is old Mr. Perkins.
Oh.
Henry will like him. He's a lot of fun at a party.
Good.
And Miss Fredericks, she hasn't been out all winter.
Good.
I'm just sorry that you can't be there yourself.
Well, I'm afraid Aunt Harriet and Henry have rather different ideas about who's welcome at a teenage boy's party. But something they probably would agree about is what makes the most welcome hot drink at mealtimes. The answer is Postum, of course. Millions of Americans will tell you that. In fact, it's because Postum is so popular, it's because every day more and more people are insisting on Postum that there's a temporary shortage. We just can't keep pace with the fast-growing demand, even though we're making more Postum today than ever before in our history. So if you can't always immediately get Postum when you ask for it at your grocer's, don't be discouraged. Don't think your grocer isn't going to get any more Postum. He will. And as soon as he does get Postum, you'll get it too. So be sure to ask for it again. Now, getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich. Henry and Homer are trying to find a place to hold their party Saturday night. Meanwhile, unknown to them, Agnes Lawson has arranged for them to hold it at the Methodist Church. And Aunt Harriet, also unknown to them, has decided to let them hold it at her house. The scene opens in the Aldrich living room.
Henry, will you please answer that phone?
Why?
Yes, please.
Homer, would you mind answering it and just tell whoever it is I'm not here?
Henry, I'm not going to be your personal goat.
But Homer, suppose it's Agnes trying to get us again.
Just tell her again we're not speaking to her.
Well, okay. And if it's somebody wanting to know where we're going to have the party, I'll tell them it's slightly up in the air. Hello?
Hello, is Mr. Aldrich there?
Mr. Aldrich? Why, no, he isn't.
Oh, well, when he comes in, could you please tell him that the Mansion House phone...
The Mansion House? The Mansion House Hotel?
Yes, I wanted to submit an estimate for his party Saturday night.
A party?
Yes, I received word that he's planning a party for Saturday night, and I wanted to give him the figures for a private dining room.
Well, gee whiz, I'm planning a party, but...
Oh, are you Mr. Aldrich?
Yes, sir, only...
Oh, you're the gentleman.
Yes, sir.
Well, I figured out an estimate for you.
I know, but we can't afford anything that's going to cost as much as... Well, we just couldn't afford it, that's all.
Oh, this isn't going to cost so much.
It isn't?
No, not at all.
How much is it?
Well, first I'll have to know a little more. Would you want a fruit cup or tomato juice to begin with?
What's that?
I said, do you want a fruit cup or tomato juice?
Why, Homer, which do you want, a fruit cup or tomato juice?
Now?
Hurry up, we're going to get a party. At the Mansion House Hotel.
Oh, could we have grape juice?
Hello, could we have grape juice?
Yes, you can have anything you want.
We can? Homer, have anything you want.
Gee whiz.
Hurry up and decide. What do you want?
Oh, take fruit cup.
Hello? Hello, we'll take fruit cup.
No, now, wait a minute, Henry, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Make it... Okay, fruit cup.
Hello? Fruit cup's okay.
Yes, Mr. Aldrich. Now, would you want chicken patties with peas or lamb chops with limas?
Well, that sounds all right.
Well, which will it be?
What?
Chicken patties with peas or lamb chops with limas?
Homer, how would you like some lamb chops?
All right, with lots of mashed potatoes.
Hello? Could we have lamb chops with mashed potatoes?
Oh, yes, of course, Mr. Aldrich. Lamb chops with mashed potatoes.
Lots of them.
And how about limas?
No, who wants limas? Gee whiz.
Well, now about the dessert. What would you like?
Well, what have you got?
Well, we can give you almost any kind of pie, ice cream, French pastry, stewed fruit.
Stewed fruit?
Listen, Henry, I'm not going to eat any stewed fruit at my own party.
Hold the line a second. Homer, we can have any dessert we want.
Anything?
Sure. I've got an idea. Hello?
Yes?
Could we have pumpkin pie a la mode?
That's the old fight, Henry.
Well, I guess you could. You'd like it served in separate dishes?
No, just dump the whole works together.
Ask him about chocolate sauce.
Oh, yes. Would there be an extra charge?
For what?
Chocolate sauce.
Chocolate sauce?
Yes.
Are you sure you should have chocolate sauce?
Oh, sure.
Well, there might be a small charge.
Well, how much will the whole thing, including it all, come to?
Well, just exactly how many are you having?
Why, 14 with Gertie Parker.
What's that? Well, I understood it was 200.
200?
I don't know where I got the idea, but that was the message that was left here for me.
200?
200 what, Henry?
Mr. Aldrich, I'm afraid that for 14, we'd have to charge you at least $1.50 apiece.
How much?
Now what's happened?
Well, the only thing is, well, gee whiz.
You can't afford it?
Oh, it isn't that we can't afford it. It's just that even without lima beans.
Well, naturally, I thought you wanted something rather nice.
Oh, we do it, and I appreciate your offer. Only, suppose I think it over.
And you'll call me back?
Yes, I may, but if you don't hear from me, don't worry.
Well, thank you, Mr. Aldrich. Goodbye.
And thank you.
But, Mother, we can't have a lot of fly-by-night young people who don't take anything seriously dancing around us while our sorority's having a meeting here. My goodness, we have a deficit in the treasury as it is.
But, dear, I'm sure they wouldn't pay any attention to your deficit.
But that isn't the point. Our president gets nervous with even just us there.
Mary, I was simply wondering whether there isn't some way we can help your brother.
Albert!
Yes, Sam, are you home?
Yes, hello. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Father.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
Her sorority has a deficit.
Yeah? Any phone calls for me?
Not that I know of, dear.
No? Didn't the mansion house phone?
No, Sam.
No.
Now, Sam, you don't have to start putting in phone calls the minute you get home.
But, Alice, I left word for them to let me know whether they could take care of our Rotary Club banquet Saturday night. And we're expecting 200 guests. Hello?
Number, please.
I want, Elm 224.
Elm 224.
If you please.
Sam, do you have any ideas as to where Henry could give his party?
Why not right here?
Father. Now, Sam.
Hello?
Hello, is this the mansion house?
Yes?
Well, this is Mr. Aldrich.
Oh, yes, Mr. Aldrich. I was wondering whether you'd call me.
Did I say I'd call you?
Well, I understood you would.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was the other way around.
Have you finally decided to go ahead with your party?
Oh, yes, definitely. The question is, can you take care of us?
I don't know why not. There's nothing complicated about it.
Good. Then I don't have anything to worry about.
No, not a thing. You just leave it to us. And on second thought, Mr. Aldrich, there won't be any extra charge for the chocolate sauce.
For the what?
For the chocolate sauce.
Oh, there won't? Well, that's fine.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Alice!
Yes, Sam.
I've got everything all fixed. And what do you think? They're throwing in the chocolate sauce.
For what?
I don't know, but it's very nice of them to give it to us.
Well, isn't that fine?
Yes, sir. I've been hoping we'd be able to have our banquet at the mansion house. And you know, Alice, I didn't tell you before, but this year it's going to be a bit more important than usual.
In what way?
Well, I've heard a rumor that they're going to nominate me for president.
Really? Well, dear, you deserve it.
Yeah?
No wonder you want everything to be especially nice.
Everything especially nice about what, Mother?
Henry, I'm glad you came into the room. Kathleen and Agnes stopped me on the street and said they'd been trying to get you for 2 days.
They did?
They did, Mr. Aldrich? Did they seem apologetic?
They said there wasn't anything for you to worry about, and they'd be seeing you at the Methodist Church tomorrow night.
At the Methodist Church? What for?
I wonder what's going on over there.
Boy, I don't know anything more about it than what I've just told you.
Well, the nerve of them.
That's what I say.
You know what they're trying to do, Homer? Come to us on bended knees.
In the Methodist Church?
We'll show them. We're going to give the best party tonight that this town ever saw.
Where?
Mother, that's the least of our worries. Something will open up. It always does. And, Homer, do you know what I'm going to the phone and do?
What?
Double our order of donuts. Homer, how does my necktie look?
Wait until we get up here under this lamppost, Henry, and I'll take a look at it.
Oh, let's turn here, though. My Aunt Harriet lives up the street.
Okay. Your tie looks fine.
You know, it was very nice of my Aunt Harriet to call me up and say we could have the party at her house.
That's what I was thinking.
And did I tell you what else she said?
What?
She said she had sort of a surprise for us.
She did?
Sure. You know what that means. She's probably going out and let us have the whole house to ourselves.
She is? Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That's what I was thinking.
Say, I wonder what's going on across the street at the Methodist Church.
I'm not interested.
As a matter of fact, I'm not either. Hey, Henry, look up the street.
Where? Well, gee whiz, what's that all about?
Well, there's something going on over at the Mansion House Hotel.
Boy, they're all dressed up. There must be a lot of parties going on tonight.
But, Henry, there are a couple of hundred people out there on the sidewalk. They're all trying to get in.
Maybe they're all getting put out.
Oh, look, there's my father.
Oh, yeah? And there's mine.
Where?
Don't you see him with all those men talking to him with his back against the wall?
Oh, sure.
Oh, there you are, Homer Brown.
Gee whiz, Agnes, where did you come
We
from?
just came from the Methodist church. That's where we came from.
Hello, Kathleen.
Henry Aldrich, do you realize everybody's waiting for you?
Where?
At the church, at the church.
We're not interested.
You're not interested in your own party?
In what party?
Now, listen, Agnes, have you been arranging more things?
And just what, Homer Brown, do you mean by that insinuation?
Now, wait a minute, Agnes. Wait a minute.
And before I sit down, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend the thanks and gratitude of the Rotary Club to several groups and, shall I say, individuals. First, I think we should thank Sam Aldrich for the very clever and original way in which he arranged this evening for us. I needn't tell you that for a few minutes when we first went over to the mansion house, it looked as though Sam had slipped up and arranged a table seating 16 to take care of 200 guests. But it was done, of course, simply to teach us a lesson that we mustn't expect sumptuous banquets in these days of war. In fact, this very delicious dinner consisting of pea soup and peanut butter sandwiches and, shall I say, rice pudding, and let's not forget the donuts, was just what we needed to bring us back to Earth. While the 15 soldiers who were to be our guests are eating at the mansion house and will join us later. Oh, incidentally, I understand Sam arranged their dinner to end up with a triple-headed dessert. And besides that, Sam Aldrich has asked me to say that we're going to put all the money that we've saved on tonight's dinner into war bonds. What's more, the treasurer of this church has just handed me a report to the effect that their organ has gone over the top. And I would like to extend our thanks to the good ladies of this church who dropped everything in order to make our banquet the success that it's been. I understand one lady in particular who had planned a Valentine party at her house for her nephew or someone, at the last minute commandeered all her adult guests and brought them down here to help serve, leaving the youngsters to shift for themselves as best they can. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce our genial chairman and next president, Sam Aldrich.
Ladies and gentlemen, frankly, I don't know what to say.
Well, all those parties seemed to straighten out nicely for everyone, didn't they? But if you think Mr. Aldrich's troubles are over, just you stay tuned in to find out what happened the next morning. And now let me remind you that Postum, for years the favorite mealtime drink in millions of American homes, is made for your convenience in two forms. Instant Postum, which you make instantly in the cup, and Postum cereal, which you make in pot, percolator, or drip maker. Both forms make the same delicious, distinctive drink. So no matter which form of Postum you choose, you'll enjoy a mealtime cup that's a real treat.
Good breakfast, Alice.
Thank you, Sam.
Father, will you have another donut?
No, thank you.
Go ahead, have one.
Henry, I have already had 3.
Oh. You know, Mother, I think that was a very good idea you had about lunch.
What idea was that?
To make a little custard to pour over the donuts.
Incidentally, Alice, I won't be here for dinner.
Listen again next week to the Aldrich family, same time, same station, for another sparkling half hour with your favorite youngster, his family, and his pals. The Aldrich Family, starring Ezra Stone, is written by Clifford Goldsmith. Original music is composed and conducted by Jack Miller. This is Harry Von Zell saying, you will enjoy fragrant, flavorful Postum. And remember, Postum contains no stimulants. It cannot make you nervous. Good night.
That was the Aldrich Family from 1943, and now the Archies.
But if there ain't no doubt about it, you got to get up and shout it. Come on, shout
So we just heard an episode about Valentine's Day, but not about love. This is an episode about love, although it's not from Valentine's Day. It's from September 18th, 1948.
Jughead, it's a matter of life or death.
Rewind, Archie. Rewind.
Yes, there he is again, the youngster millions of readers of Archie Comics magazine know and love so well. Brought to you by Swift & Company, makers of Swift Premium Franks, Archie Andrews and all his gang.
Tender deep, yes, sweetheart, down from the West Coast to New York. Swift Premium Franks. Swift Premium Franks.
For your guarantee of protection, Swift's Premium Franks now come to you cellophane wrapped in handy 1-pound packages. Made fresh daily in Swift kitchens from coast to coast, Swift's Premium Franks are then wrapped in the new handy sanitary Flavor Saver pack and brought to you at the very peak of their tantalizing flavor, with all their natural goodness sealed in. So, kids, tell your mom that you want Swift's Premium Franks. And, Mom, get some today. They're delicious. And you'll be glad to know that Swift's Premium Franks are economical. There's no waste to them. Every bite is all nourishment, all dinner-quality meat. Ask for them today. Swift's Premium Franks in the 1-pound cellophane package. And now for our weekly visit to Riverdale. It's Saturday morning as we look in on the Andrews home, and we find Archie and his mother and father in the kitchen having breakfast.
More coffee, Fred? Fred, I said more coffee. Fred Andrews, will you please put down that newspaper for 1 minute?
Yes, dear?
I said, would you like more coffee?
Oh, no, thanks, dear. I've had plenty.
All right, dear. Archie, more milk? Archie, you haven't touched your milk yet. Or your eggs or your toaster or anything.
Huh?
I said you haven't eaten anything yet. Is something wrong?
Oh, no, Mom. Not a thing.
You're not sick or anything.
Oh, no, Mama. I'm fine. Just fine.
Archie, there must be something wrong.
Gee whiz, Mom, nothing's wrong. I'm eating. See?
Yes, but that's the first time I ever saw you put maple syrup on your napkin and wipe your chin with a pancake.
Oh, gee whiz, I did, didn't I?
You certainly did. Archie, what's bothering you?
Not a thing, Mom.
Archie, you're hiding something from me.
Mom, I tell you, I'm not honest.
Fred, you speak to the boy. Fred!
Yes, dear. Yes, dear.
I want you to speak to Archie.
Oh. Hello, Archie.
Fred.
What did I do now?
I want you to make Archie tell you what's bothering him.
Oh, all right, dear. Archie, what's bothering you? Not a thing, Dad. Good. Mary, he says nothing's bothering him.
Oh, for pity's sake. Fred, I tell you that boy's sick.
Now, just a minute, Mary. Archie isn't 2 years old anymore. He should know how he feels.
But
and besides, when Archie really gets sick, we know it soon enough. He starts moaning and groaning all over the place like the world was coming to the end, and you don't have to guess how he feels.
Well...
Of course. Now, just stop worrying about him and... Oh, good grief, look at the time. I'm late.
But
oh,
Fred,
dear. Gotta rush, dear. Goodbye, dear. Goodbye, Archie.
Bye, dear. Man, always in a rush about something. Archie, are you sure you don't want to eat?
Not right now, Mama. A little later.
All right, dear. Now, who can that be? Archie, go answer the door, will you, please?
Huh? Oh, okay, Mom. But why do people come visiting at this hour? She was Jughead.
What'd you expect, Mother Goose?
No, Jughead, but I'm sure glad to see you.
You are?
Yes, Jug. I've got something very important to tell you, Jug.
Okay, tell me.
All right.
After all, aren't we pals?
Yes, Jug.
Have we been through thick and thin? Especially thin?
Jug,
Isn't a friend indeed a friend indeed?
Jughead, all right. So we've been through thick and thin, and you're a friend indeed. If you'll just keep quiet for a minute, I'll tell you.
Okay.
But, Jug, I don't want you to tell anyone else.
I won't.
Okay. Jughead, I'm in love.
What, again?
Jug, this is different. This is a love that will last through the ages. This is a love that always was and always will be. This time, Jughead, I don't have just a crush.
No, you're smashed to pieces.
Yes, Jughead, I am. I'm a slave to love.
Oh, fine. Who's the unlucky girl?
Well, it's... Promise you won't tell.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's Miss Biddle.
Miss Biddle? Who is Miss... Archie, not our new history teacher.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. Archie, when did this happen?
Last week, Jug. Right in the middle of the French and Indian War.
Oh, boy. Archie, you don't mean it.
Oh, yes, I do, Jughead.
But you can't. She's too old for you.
Jughead, Miss Biddle is not old.
Not old? Archie, I bet she's at least 23.
She is not. She isn't a day over 22.
Well, that's still a lot older than you.
Oh, I don't know, Jug. Lots of people think I'm 18.
Well, you're not.
Well, I look like it. Why, just yesterday, Jug, I noticed I'm going to have to start shaving pretty soon.
Shaving? Listen, Archie, there's nothing on your face that wouldn't come off with soap and water.
Well, it still doesn't matter. The main thing is, I love her.
Listen, Archie, does Miss Biddle know about this?
No, but she will today, Jug.
Huh?
I'm going to tell her today.
Tell her? Gee whiz, you mean you're just going to walk up to Miss Biddle and say, I love you? Right to her face?
Well, I'm not just going to say, Miss Biddle, I love you. I'm going to prepare a speech.
A speech?
Sure, and Jug, you can help me. I'll try a speech out right now, and you be Miss Biddle.
Archie, now, wait a minute.
Jug, you got to help me practice.
Gee whiz, okay.
Okay. Now, you're Miss Biddle, and the doorbell rings. You come to the door, and there I stand. Flowers in my hand, love in my eyes.
And knocking in your knees.
Jug, be quiet. There I stand. And you open the door and you see me. And you say,
Hiya.
Jug, no, not like that. Talk like Miss Biddle.
Oh, okay.
Hello!
Is that any better?
Not much, but it'll have to do. And I say, hello, Miss Biddle. I came to speak to you about a very important matter.
Oh, Raleigh!
Yes, Miss Biddle. Yes. Look into my eyes and tell me what they tell you.
That you were up late last night.
Jughead, no. My eyes don't tell her that.
Gee whiz, how am I supposed to know what your eyes tell her?
Oh, great. Jughead, rehearsing with you is no good. I'll just have to think of something to say when I get to Miss Biddle's house.
You mean you're going over there?
Well, sure. And the sooner the better. Come on, Jug. I want to go upstairs and put a tie on, and then we're going to Miss Biddle's house and... Oh, gee whiz, that would ring right now. Hello.
Hello, Archie.
Hi,
Hi, y'all, Archiekins. It's awful nice to hear your voice, Archie. Do ya? But, Archie, what's keeping you?
What's keeping me?
Uh-huh. We have a date to play tennis this morning, remember?
Tennis? Oh, gee whiz. Veronica, would you mind if we didn't play tennis this morning?
Didn't play? But, Archie, we have a date.
Well, I know, Veronica, but I just can't come over right now.
Why not? Are you sick?
Well, not exactly, but you might say I've never felt this way before.
My goodness. Then perhaps we'd better not play tennis after all.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Veronica. We'd better not.
Well, I hope you feel better.
Thanks, Veronica. I'm sure I will.
You get into bed, Archie, and get lots of rest.
Yes, I will, Veronica.
Bye now.
Goodbye. Oh, gee, Jug, I forgot all about that date I had with Veronica.
But, Archie, don't you like Veronica anymore?
Jug, she's just a kid. My feelings toward Veronica can't compare to my feelings for Miss Biddle. But come on, Jug, I want to get that tie and then go over to Miss Biddle's house right now.
Okay, but I hope you know what you're doing.
Archie, will you answer that, please, dear? Archie?
For pity's sake, now where'd he disappear to? 1 minute he goes to answer the door, and the next... All right. Hello?
Oh, hello, Mrs. Andrews. This is Veronica.
Oh, hello, Veronica.
I'm sorry to hear Archie's sick.
Yes, What?
And when I spoke to him, I forgot to ask if there was anything I could do. That's why I called back.
Well, Veronica, I don't know. How did you find out Archie's sick?
Well, he told me so himself just a few minutes ago.
Oh?
But he wouldn't say what it was. I hope it's nothing serious.
Well, we don't know yet, Veronica, but I'm going to find out right away.
Oh, all right, Mrs. Andrews. Let me know if there's anything I can do.
Yes, I will, dear. Thanks for calling. Goodbye.
Bye now.
So, Archie is sick after all, and he wouldn't admit it.
Come on, Jug. Let's get this over and done with.
Archie.
Oh, hiya, Mom.
And just where do you think you're going?
Out.
Well, you can just march right back upstairs again.
Sure, I'll... Upstairs? What for?
To get undressed and into bed.
Into bed? Mom, who's sleepy?
You know perfectly well why. Now, no arguments, Archie. Upstairs.
But, Mom,
Archie.
Mom,
Archie.
Mom, listen,
Archie.
Gee whiz. Okay, Mom. But I sure wish I knew what this is all about.
I do, too. But we'll both know when the doctor gets here.
Well, love may be blind, but in Archie's case, it seems to be a little nearsighted. We'll see how he makes out in his efforts to announce his great love to his history teacher in just a minute. But first, I'd like to tell you about something very interesting I read in a magazine the other day. The article was about frankfurters, and it said that the average American eats over 71 frankfurters a year. Yes, there's no doubt about it. Frankfurters are the all-American meat. But whether your annual consumption of frankfurters is above or below the average, you'll find greater satisfaction, more eating pleasure, if you always ask for Swift's Premium Franks. For you see, Swift's Premium Franks are the franks of all dinner-quality meat. Yes, every tender morsel of Swift's Premium Franks is a delicious blend of tender beef and juicy pork, all dinner-quality meat. And that's why Swift's Premium Franks are so unusually delicious, so distinctive in flavor, so reliably high in quality. And to make sure that these plump, juicy Franks reach you at the very peak of their flavor goodness, Swift's Premium Franks are made fresh daily in Swift kitchens located close to where they're sold. Then each pound is wrapped in the cellophane Flavor Saver package that seals in all the natural goodness of each delicious Frank. So for finer flavor, for freshness, for top quality, ask for Swift's Premium Franks, the Franks of all dinner-quality meat. And now back to Archie and Jughead. Because Archie is madly in love with a new teacher, Miss Biddle, and is trying to keep it a secret from his family, his mother has mistaken his romantic agonies for an illness of some kind and has ordered Archie to his room. We find him there, nervously pacing the floor.
Gee whiz, what am I going to do? I just got to go see Miss Biddle, and what happens? My mother sends me up here to my room while she calls Dr. Higgins, and I ask you, is there anything the matter with me?
Nothing Dr. Higgins could fix.
Look at me, stuck in this room like I had measles or something.
Yeah, and Dr. Higgins will probably put you to bed for a week.
A week? Oh, Jughead, he wouldn't.
Wouldn't he?
Gee whiz, I guess he would. Jug, that settles it. I'm getting out of here.
Huh?
Yes, Jug, I am. I know my mother said to stay here, and I never disobey my parents, if I can help it. But, Jughead, all's fair in love or war. And this is both.
But Archie...
Think of all the great lovers of history, Jughead. Anthony and Cleopatra, Tristan and Isolde, Romeo and Juliet.
Sears and Roebuck.
Yeah, Jug, where would they have been if their mothers had sent them to their rooms?
In their rooms?
That's right. Jug, I'm going to see Miss Biddle right now. Are you coming with me or staying here?
I'm coming with you. Think I won't have to explain to your mother where you are?
Okay, then come on.
But, Archie, how are you going to get out of the house without your mother seeing us?
Jug, it's a cinch. I'm going to climb out this window.
Out the window?
Sure, Jug. There's a drain pipe right outside, and it's just a short slide to the ground.
But, Archie, I don't...
Jug, quit arguing. And don't make any noise. I don't want my mother to hear us.
Okay. But it sure looks like a long way to the ground.
Jug, there's nothing to be afraid of. Not a thing. You go first.
Nothing doing.
Jug, I tell you, there's nothing to be afraid of. Now go on. Take hold of that drain pipe and slide down.
Okay. 1, 2. Archie.
Yes?
What comes after 2?
Jug, don't be funny. Now slide down.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
quiet.
Oh, okay.
And look out, here I come. Oh, boy, what was that?
Gee whiz, you ripped your pants.
Jughead, will you please be quiet? If my mother catches us now, I'm sunk.
Oh, okay.
Now, come on. We'll tiptoe across the lawn to the bushes, and once we get there, everything will be...
Hello, Archie.
Oh, no.
Betty?
What you doing, Archie?
Betty,
I was just coming over to your house to see you.
Betty,
and then I saw you and Jug sliding down the drain pipe.
Betty,
What'd you do that for?
Well,
Why didn't you use the front door?
Betty,
Don't you know you could get hurt that way?
Betty,
Oh, and you ripped your suit, didn't you?
Yes,
Golly, Archie, why don't you answer me? Is something the matter?
No, Betty, and for Pete's sake, be quiet.
Well, of course I'll be quiet, Archie, but why?
I can't explain now, Betty, but I have to go someplace very important and in a hurry.
Well, can't you tell me why you slid down the pipe?
Betty, look, if you'll just go home and stay there, I promise to come over as soon as I can and explain the whole thing to you, okay?
Oh, okay, Archie. I'll go home right now. Bye, Archie. Bye, Jug.
Bye, Betty.
Bye.
Oh, thank heaven she's gone. Now, come on, Jug, let's go.
But, Archie, what about your torn pants?
Nothing about them, Jug. If Miss Biddle loves me, she'll take me torn pants and all.
Miss Simmons, take a letter, please. Riverdale National Bank, gentlemen. In reference... I'll take it. Hello?
Hello. Mr. Fred Andrews, please.
Oh, speaking.
Oh, Mr. Andrews. This is Margaret Biddle.
Who?
Margaret Biddle. I'm the new history teacher at Riverdale High.
Oh, teacher. You're calling about Archie, I suppose.
That's right, Mr. Andrews.
Well, what's he done now?
Oh, why, not a thing, Mr. Andrews. The reason I'm calling is that as a new teacher, I feel that I should get acquainted with the parents of all my students.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
Well, you and Mrs. Andrews are next on my list, but I thought I'd better call and make an appointment first.
Yes, by all means.
Will you be home this afternoon?
Yes, Miss Biddle, I certainly will.
Well, then I'll drop by and we can all have a chat about Archie.
Why, that'd be fine, Miss Biddle, fine. There's nothing I'd like better than a nice long talk with you. About Archie, I mean.
Well, I think this is Miss Biddle's house right here, Jughead.
Yeah, I guess so. But are you sure you want to go through with this, Archie?
Jughead, I have no choice. I've got to tell Miss Biddle how I feel about her. And it's too late to turn back now.
Well, okay. Go ahead and knock.
Okay, I will. Gee, maybe she isn't home.
Well, knock and find out.
Okay, I will. Gee, maybe she'll think I'm silly.
Archie, if you don't knock on that door, I will.
Jug, no, wait, don't. I'll knock as soon as I find my right hand. Oh, here it is. There, I did it. And I'm not sure I should have.
Archie, quit shaking.
Who's shaking? I'm just...
Yes?
Miss Biddle, I want to... Oh, you're not Miss Biddle, are you?
No, I'm Mrs. Biddle.
Oh, Mrs. Biddle. You mean Miss Biddle's mother?
That's right.
Boy, am I glad to see you.
What?
I mean, is Miss Biddle home?
No.
She isn't?
No, she's out visiting some of the parents of her students right now.
She is now?
That's right. I believe she said she was going to see, Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, or something like that.
Anderson? You don't mean Andrews, do you?
Oh, yes, that's right. Andrews.
Oh, boy. Judge, she's gone to my house. I came here and she went there. Mrs. Biddle, tell your daughter that I... never mind, I'll tell her myself. Come on, Jug, I gotta get home.
Oh, Dr. Higgins, I'm so glad you got here.
Ah, Mrs. Andrews, what are you doing out of bed?
Well, I felt strong enough to... out of bed? Well, Doctor,
You don't look well at all.
But, Doctor,
Tell me just what's troubling you.
Doctor,
Stick out your tongue.
Doctor, look, I'm not sick.
You're not sick. Well, then why did you call me?
It's my son.
Your son?
Yes, Archie. He's the patient.
Oh, your son is sick.
Yes.
Well, why didn't you say so? Where is he?
Upstairs in his room.
Well, then, let's go up and have a look at him.
All right, Doctor. Oh, dear. Pardon me, Doctor, while I see who that is.
Oh, hello, Betty.
Hello, Mrs. Andrews.
Oh, Dr. Higgins, golly, is somebody sick? Yes, Betty, Archie. Dr. Higgins is just going up to see him. Going off? Up where? To Archie's room.
Oh, but Archie isn't in his room, Mrs. Andrews.
What?
He just climbed down the drain pipe.
Down the what?
Miss Cooper, would you stick out your tongue?
Me? Oh, I'm all right, Dr. Higgins.
Betty, when did you see Archie?
Just a little while ago, Mrs. Andrews. He and Jughead climbed out the window of Archie's room and slid down, and Archie said he had to go someplace right away.
Oh, good heavens. So that's how the boy got out of the house. He climbed out of a window. Doctor, he's never done anything like that before. Do you think he's delirious?
Well, it's hard to say, Mrs. Andrews. He does seem to be showing some strange symptoms.
Mom, where is she? Where is she? Is she here, Mom? Is she here?
He is delirious.
Archie, stick out your tongue.
Mom, isn't she here yet? Huh?
Archie, isn't who here?
My history teacher.
Oh, dear. Doctor, he isn't making sense.
My boy, we'd better take your temperature. Just put this in your mouth.
Huh? Oh, but Doctor,
That's fine. Now.
But Doctor,
just keep your mouth closed, my boy. Now, take your jacket and shirt off. I want to listen to your chest.
Golly, Doctor, don't I can't get undressed now. She'll be here any
Keep your
minute.
mouth closed, please.
But Doctor...
Jughead, hold Archie's arm.
But, Mom...
Close your mouth.
Betty, help me get his jacket off.
That's right. Now, the shirt. What's going on here, anyway? Mary, what are you doing?
Taking Archie's shirt off.
Oh, good grief, Mary, not now.
Why not?
Why, she'll be in here any minute.
He's delirious, too.
Mr. Andrews, stick out your tongue. Yes, certainly. What? Why should I stick out my tongue?
I have Archie's shirt off, Doctor. Oh, dear. Jug, answer that.
Okay, Mom, will you please...
Keep your mouth closed,
Doctor,
please.
Miss Biddle.
Miss Biddle?
Oh, no, I'm ruined, Doctor.
Miss Biddle,
Fred, who's Miss Biddle?
Well, Mary,
She with no shirt and the thermometer in my mouth.
Keep your mouth closed. Please, Doctor. Mary, Archie. Doctor. Good, Mary, Archie. Doctor. Please keep quiet. Quiet. There, that's better. Now, listen to me, all of you. This nonsense has gone far enough. Too far, in fact. Now, Mary, would you mind telling me what Dr. Higgins is doing here?
Fred, I called him to look at Archie. But would you mind telling me who Miss Biddle is?
She's Archie's history teacher. She came out to talk about Archie and... oh, by the way, do you know Dr. Higgins, Miss Biddle? Miss Biddle, Dr. Higgins. Oh, we know each other, Mr. Andrews. Hello, darling. Good. Darling?
Darling?
She was. You call everybody darling.
Dr. Higgins, it's none of my business, but did you call Miss Biddle darling? That's right, Andrews. After all, she is my fiancée.
Oh. You're what? I'm his fiancée. That's why I moved to Riverdale, to be near my Higgsy Wigsy.
Higgsy Wigsy?
Uh-huh. We're being married next month.
Married? Oh, but you wouldn't. Well, you couldn't. Well, you didn't.
Beg pardon, young man?
Well,
Well, congratulations, Dr. Higgins. I didn't know.
Why, for pity's sake, Dr. Higgins, how wonderful. Come sit down, you two, and tell us all about it.
Yes, this I want to hear about.
And we'll have some tea.
Mom, if you don't mind, I think I'll just go out on the porch for a while.
What? But Archie, I
want to get some fresh air, Mom. It's very close in here. Excuse me. Excuse me, everybody.
Well, for pity's sake. You see why we called Dr. Higgins and Miss Biddle. Fred, go see what's wrong with the boy.
Oh, Mary, he'll be
Fred,
all right.
Go.
Huh? Yeah. Oh. Yes, dear. I'll go. I'll see what the trouble is. Archie.
Yes, Dad?
Archie, what in tarnation is the matter with you today? Don't you know we have company? Now, what will Miss Biddle think?
Dad, I'd rather not talk about it if you don't mind.
Oh. Archie.
Yes, Dad?
Archie, what do you say if we take a nice long walk together?
A walk?
Yes, son. I want to tell you a story.
Huh?
It's a story about a tattooed lady in a circus.
Gee whiz, Dad, I don't want to hear about tattooed ladies now.
Oh, I think you do, Archie. You see, I was just your age when I fell in love with this tattooed lady.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Gee whiz, Dad, I didn't think you'd understand.
Understand? Archie, I think I understand more than you think I do. You see, this tattooed lady ran off with a handsome young artist, and there I was with just a picture postcard of her.
Gee whiz, Dad. You know something?
Yes, Archie?
As Jughead says, a friend indeed is a friend indeed.
You really know what you're getting when you ask for Swift's Premium Franks. Made fresh daily in Swift kitchens from coast to coast, so you know they're fresh. Made by Swift, so you know they're top quality. Ask for them today. Swift's Premium Franks in the new handy 1-pound cellophane package. And while you're at your dealers, be sure to ask for Swift's Brookfield sausage, the sausage with the just right seasoning. And don't forget that your dealer has a tempting variety of Swift's Premium table-ready meats. Delicious bologna is being featured this week, and you'll find it to be a surefire hit in lunchbox sandwiches, after-school snacks, and late-evening spreads. And remember, Swift's Premium Bologna is economical because it's all meat. No bones, no waste. Always keep some on hand for quick, easy-to-fix meals. For a meal in a flash that saves plenty of cash, get Swift's Premium table-ready meats. Now back to Archie. And since young bones and young hearts heal very quickly, why, after a long walk with Dad and 3 chocolate sodas, Archie recovered from his ill-fated love affair. It's early that evening.
Well, Archie, so you're going to the school dance?
Yes, Mom. As soon as Jughead gets here, we're calling for Betty and Veronica, and, that must be Jughead now. Hello. Hiya, Jug, old boy. How did you... Jughead, what's the matter?
Matter? Nothing, Archie. I just realized something. I'm madly in love with our algebra teacher.
Oh, no.
You've been listening to another chapter of The Adventures of Archie Andrews, written by Carl Jampel and based on the copyrighted feature appearing in Archie Comics magazine. Archie was played by Bob Hastings, Jughead by Harlan Stone, Mom and Dad Andrews are played by Alice Sherman and Arthur Cole, Veronica and Betty by Gloria Mann and Rosemary Rice. Others in the cast were Jane A. Marr as Miss Biddle and Vin Hayworth as Dr. Higgins. This program is produced and directed by Kenneth McGregor. Listen next Saturday when Swift & Company, makers of Swift's Premium Franks, brings you more of the merry adventures of Archie Andrews. This is Bob Sherry wishing you all a very pleasant weekend. So long. Swift & Company invite you to stay tuned for Meet the Meeks, which will be heard immediately over most of these stations.
That was an episode of The Adventures of Archie Andrews from 1948. Of course, Archie fell in love with his teacher. Henry Aldrich, on the other hand, is a boy who would never fall in love with his teacher, but he does wind up with plenty of love problems. Here's an episode from February 25th, 1943.
The Aldrich family, a special rebroadcast for you soldiers, sailors, and Marines of the United Nations.
A typical teenage boy has always scampered across the American scene. First came Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, and then Penrod, and nowadays there's Henry Aldrich. And Henry adds his own individual flavor to every mishap he bumps into. The scene opens in the Aldrich front hall. The time is evening.
Mary!
Mary, are you in the living room?
Yes, Henry, come on in.
Could you come out in the hall, please? I want to speak to you about something important.
Henry, don't you realize Muriel Watson is in the living room and she wants to say hello to you?
Listen, Mary, I'm in no condition to bother with Muriel Watson. Boy, of all the... I want you to put in a phone call for me.
To whom?
Just Kathleen. And say I'm very sorry I won't be able to see her tonight.
Henry, I thought you said you were taking her to the movies tonight.
I was going to, but her folks won't let her go. And, gee, it's the picture I want to see.
What's that, Henry? What were you saying?
Nothing, Mother. Nothing of any importance.
Well, Henry, I have a guest in the living room, and you'll have to put in your own phone call.
But, Mary! Mother, would you be willing to call Mary back here and tell her that the only way this family can get along is to have everybody cooperate?
What is it you want her to do?
Look, couldn't you phone Kathleen that I won't be over tonight?
Dear, I thought you were crazy about Kathleen.
I am. I like her. But I can't see her every night.
Did you see her last night?
No.
Have you seen her any night this week?
No. But I'm willing to see her tomorrow night. I'll answer the phone. It's probably Homer wanting to know where I'm going to meet him.
Well, it seems to me, Henry, you're taking your best girl just a bit for granted.
Hello?
Hello, Henry. This is Kathleen.
Oh, I was just going to... hello?
Henry, I'm awfully sorry, but would you mind not coming over tonight?
Who, I?
Yes, something's just come up, and I'm awfully sorry, Henry.
Well, that's all right, Kathleen. As a matter of fact...
You can come over tomorrow night, though, I think.
Oh, well, that's an idea.
Henry, if you're going to the movies with Homer, why don't you ask Kathleen to go along?
Mother, do you want everybody to hear you?
What's that, Henry?
Goodbye, Kathleen, and thanks very much.
Goodbye.
Henry, you mean you're going over there?
Why, I tell you, Mother, well, it's sort of a coincidence. Hello?
Number, please.
Elm 232.
Elm 232. Henry, won't you please go in there and talk to Muriel while I go up and change my dress?
With Muriel? What's there to talk to her about?
Henry, she's an awfully pretty girl.
No, Mary. I'm going to the movies with Homer.
Hello.
Hello, Homer. This is Hen.
Hi. Say, I was just going to call you.
Yeah? Where will I meet you?
Why, I tell you, Henry, I don't think I can go to the movies tonight.
What's that?
Well, something else just came up that I don't have any control over. That's what I was just going to call you about.
I know, but Homer, you can't do a thing like that. You did the same thing last night.
Henry, could I help it if something came up last night, too?
But gee whiz.
I've got to go now. I'll see you tomorrow.
But Homer.
Bye.
And now listen, Homer. Gee whiz.
Henry?
Yes? Who's calling me?
It's Muriel, Henry. Wouldn't you like to come in here?
Why, I tell you... who, me? What did you want?
Oh, nothing in particular. I just thought maybe you'd like to talk with him. Are you upset about something?
Boy, I'll say. My best friend Homer Brownie just busted a date with me.
Oh, yes, I remember. Homer's going over to Kathleen's tonight, isn't he?
Who, Homer?
Yes. She said he was over there last night, too.
Who, Homer?
Yes.
Over to Kathleen's? Oh, no, Muriel. You've got it all mixed up. Homer runs around with Agnes.
With Agnes? Then why do you suppose Kathleen told me a thing like that?
She didn't. She probably said that Agnes told her that... excuse me while I answer the phone.
Well, I don't know how I could have made a mistake like that, though.
Well, frankly, Muriel, I think you ought to be a little more careful.
Henry Aldrich, are you being rude to Muriel?
Who, I, Mary? Gee whiz, when a person goes around saying it's Kathleen when it's Agnes, and I know perfectly well... Hello?
Hello, this is Agnes.
What's that? Kathleen?
No, my goodness, Henry, it's Agnes.
Oh, hello.
Listen, Henry, could I speak with Homer, please?
Homer isn't here.
He isn't. Was he there last night, Henry?
No, something came up.
Well, that's what I suspected. That's exactly what I suspected. Goodbye.
What's that? Agnes, where is he?
Henry?
Yes, Mother?
Could you bring that light around here so I can see to read, please?
Yes, sure.
Dear, I thought you said last evening you were going over to Kathleen's tonight.
Who, I, Mother?
Well, didn't you phone her last night and break a date with her and change it to tonight?
I know, but I decided I'd just stay home and get acquainted with the family for a change.
Henry, I want you to look at me. What is the matter?
Mother, will you tell me something? I mean, will you tell it to me frankly?
Well, I'll try to.
Did you like Kathleen?
Well, yes, Henry, of course. Only why do you ask, did I like her?
No reason. Only I was just wondering... Gee, did you ever notice when she used to go down the street how she'd always be smiling?
Dear, has something happened to Kathleen?
Happened to her? No, not especially. But do you know how I'll always think of her? I mean, for as long as I live, I'll always remember how she loved chocolate marshmallow sundaes.
What's that?
Gee, the poor kid. She kept me broke half the time. But I didn't mind.
Henry, you talk as though Kathleen Anderson were dead.
Well, so far as I'm concerned, she is. She's a thing of the past. Mother, let's just drop the subject. Please don't even mention Kathleen anymore. I'm tired of hearing about her.
But, Henry, I've hardly mentioned her.
If that doorbell should ring right this minute, and I should open and see Homer Brown standing there, I'd haul off and... Oh, boy.
Dear, wasn't that the doorbell?
Yes, Mother, I'll answer it.
Well, Henry, please at least unclench your fist.
I'm not going to hit him hard. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get something out of this hall closet.
Now, Henry?
Mother, I hope you don't think I'm going to let him come to this house and add insult to injury to me, do you? Well.
Hello.
Oh, gee, it's you.
Henry, what are you doing with that baseball bat?
Nothing.
Is Mary ready?
Who is it, Henry?
It's Muriel, Mrs. Aldrich. Henry, is it all right for me to go into the living room?
Oh, yes, sure.
Oh, hello there, dear. My goodness, but doesn't your hair look nice?
Do you like it this way, Mrs. Aldrich? Do you like it, Henry?
What's that?
If you'll excuse me, Muriel, I'll go upstairs and tell Mary you're here.
All right, Mrs. Aldrich.
Boy.
Henry, I'm awfully glad you're home.
Boy.
What's the matter, Henry?
Muriel, would you be willing to drop into Kathleen's on your way home and deliver a note for me?
Oh, Kathleen?
Well, that is, if I can find the darn thing.
Is it very personal, Henry?
No. Gee whiz. Do you mind if I dump out my pockets here on the sofa beside you?
Oh, no, of course not. Oh, why don't you sit down here next to me?
What do you suppose I could have done with that note? I remember distinctly writing it in Latin class today. And then
Henry, do you mind if I tell you something I've always wanted to tell you but never felt I knew you well enough before to?
What?
Well, I think you've just been throwing yourself away on Kathleen.
Really? You know, maybe it was a good thing I lost that note.
Of course. As a matter of fact, I think it was terrible of her to break up a beautiful friendship like that you and Homer had between yourselves.
You do?
I'm going to have a talk with Homer and tell him how awful you feel.
Oh, well...
Henry, do you mind if I fix that lock of hair that's standing up on the back of your head?
Oh, gee, is that up again?
Somebody ought to follow you around just all day long. There.
Is it down now?
If I weren't so busy, I'd be glad to follow you around.
Gee whiz, can you imagine that? I never even noticed it before.
Never noticed what?
Your eyes are practically the same color as mine.
They are? Henry, you have no idea how much respect I have for you.
For me? Why?
You're the only boy I've ever met that's never tried to kiss me.
What's that?
That's right, Henry.
Well, gee, I'm glad you feel that way. Because, well, I don't think a fellow... the minute he sits down on the sofa, well, you know... Well, gee, he ought to... you know what I mean?
Yes, Henry.
Well...
Henry, are you in the living room?
Gee whiz. Yes, Mary.
My goodness, do you know anything about that phone call that just came?
What phone call?
Mother's on the phone right this minute. Don't you have a teacher by the name of Miss Elliott?
Yes, sure, in Latin. She's a darn good-looking teacher.
Oh, my goodness, wait till I tell Mother. Mother, let me tell you what Henry just said.
What's that, Mary? Listen, I'm getting along all right in Latin.
Alice, is breakfast all ready?
Yes, Sam. Sit down and I'll make some toast for you.
What's the news in the morning paper?
Well, dear, first, there's several things I'm anxious to talk to you about.
Yes?
Dear, while you were out last evening, a phone call came. And, Sam, I don't think I've ever been so upset in my life.
Who was the call from?
It was from Henry's Latin teacher. Her name is Miss Elliott.
Alice, I've always told you Henry would never be any good at languages.
Now, wait, Sam, because even when I tell you, you're not going to believe me.
You mean he's leading the class?
Now, remember, dear, I'm only telling you what Miss Elliott told me. When Henry handed in his Latin paper yesterday, he enclosed with it a note.
A note?
Yes, Sam, a note to Miss Elliott.
Well?
Don't you understand, dear? Henry thinks he's in love with his Latin teacher.
What's that? Now, wait a minute.
Sam, I knew Henry was upset. He hasn't eaten for 2 days now. But I supposed it was over some trouble he was having with Kathleen.
What did he say in the note?
The usual thing. Why don't you pay any attention to me? What have I done that's offended you? And things like how much he wants to be with her.
Yeah? Well?
And here's what we decided Miss Elliott should do. She's going to ask Henry to come into her classroom this afternoon and have a little talk with him.
Yeah? Come to think of it, Alice, didn't Henry take Latin under old Miss Dudley at the beginning of this term?
Yes, and then he suddenly switched.
Yes? To Miss Elliott?
Yes, Sam. That only goes to show you never know what's going on inside a boy's head.
Mother?
Yes, Henry?
Is breakfast ready? Oh, hello, Father.
Hello, Henry.
Boy, do I feel good.
You feel good?
I've just been catching up on my Latin.
What's that?
And, boy, I can hardly wait to get to class today.
Henry, tell me, how are you and Kathleen getting along these days?
Kathleen, Father? Gee, I'm not interested in Kathleen.
No?
I'll answer the phone.
Will you have some bacon, Alice?
No, thank you, Sam. I can't eat a thing.
Save some bacon for me, Father. I'm very hungry. Hello?
Hello, is this Henry?
Yes.
Well, this is Muriel. I was just talking to someone on the phone about you.
About me? Who are you talking to?
Homer Brown. And Henry, he's very sorry he broke up your friendship with Kathleen and wants very much to be friends with you.
Well, boy, am I glad to hear that. And look, Muriel, you're going to the movies with me tonight, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I'm looking forward to it. Only, Henry, do you mind if Homer goes with us?
What's that?
Henry, Homer felt so bad about everything. I thought the least I could do was to ask him over for dinner.
For dinner at your house?
Now, aren't you glad you didn't send that note to Kathleen?
Well,
I'll be seeing you, Henry. Goodbye.
I know, but Muriel, I thought...
We'll be back with the Aldrich family in just a moment. Right now it's intermission and time for our intermission guest, the one and only Tommy Dorsey. Okay, Tommy?
Now, getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich. Henry, who has been having his difficulties with Kathleen, has lost a note that he intended to send her. Meanwhile, his Latin teacher has received the note along with his Latin paper. The scene opens in a school corridor just outside his Latin teacher's door.
Hello, Henry. Hello, Agnes.
Are you going home, Henry?
I can't right now. I've got to go in and have a talk with Miss Elliott.
You have? What's happened?
That's what gets me, Agnes. Remember that paper we handed in yesterday?
Yes.
Well, gee, last night Miss Elliott phoned my house. And, boy, my mother hasn't eaten since. And today Miss Elliott said, right out of a clear blue sky, will you see me as soon as school is out?
My goodness.
And, gee, I thought I was doing fine. She didn't even call on me all during class today.
Really? Henry, have you seen Homer the last day or so?
No. He's going to the movies with Muriel tonight.
He is with that Muriel Watson?
Yes, but I'm not going with him. You can rest assured of that.
Well, my goodness, if that isn't...
Henry.
Oh, gee whiz. Yes, Miss Elliott?
You hadn't forgotten that I wanted to see you, had you?
No, ma'am. I'll be right there.
Goodbye, Henry. I'll wait and walk home part way with you if you want me to.
Okay.
I want to ask your advice about something.
Now then, Henry.
Yes, Miss Elliott?
Would you mind leaving the door open, please?
Oh, you want it open?
I think it might be best.
Yes, Miss Elliott.
Henry, frankly, I don't know how to begin this little conversation.
Yes, Miss Elliott?
I've been criticized in the past for conducting my classes a bit informally, but I always felt there should be a bond, in a way, between the students and the teacher.
Well, gee, I'm glad to hear you say that, Miss Elliott, because that's why I'd rather take Latin from you than from Miss Dudley.
But that's just the point. I didn't realize, Henry, that things were going quite so far.
You mean about being informal?
I refer especially to that paper you handed me yesterday.
Oh, that, Miss Elliott. Didn't you like it?
Well, Henry, after all...
Gee, I'm certainly sorry about that. When I started to write it the other night, I couldn't get going. You know what I mean? So I went to bed. And then I started to think about how you'd feel if I didn't finish it. So I got up and got the darn thing off my mind.
Oh?
And, you know, the minute I finished it, I felt swell. And I went back to bed and went right to sleep.
But, Henry, don't you realize it was all wrong?
All wrong? The whole thing? Well, maybe it was because I was tired.
All I can say is I was never quite so mortified in all my life.
Well, I want you to know, Miss Elliott, I can do better.
Henry, do you realize how old you are?
Yes, Miss Elliott.
Why, you're still just a very young man.
Yes, Miss Elliott.
Then under the circumstances, don't you think it would be best if we face the facts and just drop this whole thing?
You mean for good?
Yes.
I haven't even got a chance if I go on with it?
No, Henry.
Boy. And, gee, I thought I was just beginning to get somewhere.
Henry, you weren't.
Not at all?
No, not at all. So don't you think we'd better end the whole thing?
Yes, Miss Elliott.
There. Now, don't you feel better already?
Well, frankly, it has been sort of preying on my mind.
Of course it has. And let's not ever even mention it again.
Okay. As a matter of fact, my father's been against it from the start.
Naturally he has. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Do you want me to close the door as I go out?
Yes, please. I'd like to be alone for a while.
Henry?
Hi, Agnes.
What did Miss Elliott want?
Why, well, she said I was too young for Latin.
You are?
Yes. Or else she's too old to teach it to me. I couldn't figure out which.
Alice, how long before dinner will be ready?
Oh, at least an hour, Sam.
Yes?
Sam, I think you ought to have a heart-to-heart talk with Henry.
A talk with Henry about Miss Elliott?
Yes, dear.
Now, Alice, if I were you, I'd forget the whole business.
But, Sam, I can't forget it. I've been worrying about it all day.
And I say let's not get mixed up in it. Every boy has to go through what he's going through.
Did you?
Of course. Only I didn't wait for my Latin teacher. I fell in love with my first grade teacher. Her name was Miss Sutherland. She had light brown hair. I used to follow her home every afternoon.
Sam, that was an entirely different situation.
In what way?
In the first place, dear, a phone call came this afternoon.
From whom?
That Muriel Watson. And, Sam, I didn't know she and Henry had had some kind of falling out.
A falling out? I didn't even know he was interested in her.
Well, that's what surprised me. And, Sam, the girl was all broken up. She kept saying that she hoped Henry would understand.
Understand what?
I don't know, dear. But I no sooner got through talking with her and the doorbell rang, and who do you suppose that was?
Who?
Kathleen Anderson. She stood there in the front hall and was practically in tears.
Over Henry?
Over Henry.
Well, that's a fine thing. Our only son falls in love with his Latin teacher and with two of her students at the same time, mind you.
What'd you say, Father? What is it that Henry's done?
Not a thing, Mary, not a thing.
You mean it's that awful?
Now, dear, please don't let your imagination go to work. Go see who's at the front door.
All right. Only would you like to have me tell you something more?
No, thank you. We would not.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Aunt Harriet.
I was just passing by, and I thought I'd drop in. Where are your mother and father?
They're in the living room talking about Henry.
Yes? Well, I just saw him downtown.
You did?
With Agnes Lawson into Haven's drugstore. Alice,
Oh, come on in, Harriet.
how's everything?
Why, fine. Fine. At least as well as can be expected.
Oh, has something gone wrong?
No, Harriet, not at all.
Now, Sam, what on earth has happened?
Harriet, it isn't anything. We were just talking about a young woman here in town that Henry...
Oh, that. Are you upset over that?
What? You mean you know about it?
My goodness, everybody in town knows about it.
What's that, Harriet?
Yes, I just saw them downtown together. In fact, I loaned Henry some money.
They're downtown together?
They're sitting in the Haven's drugstore holding hands.
Henry is sitting in the Haven's drugstore holding hands. Holding hands with...
Yes, Sam. You don't think I'd make it up, do you?
Alice, maybe you're right. I will have a talk with him.
Mary, are you in the living room?
Yes, Henry.
Listen, Mary, could you do something for me?
What is it? Has Father seen you?
Father, he wants to see me.
Yes, Henry, and you might just as well know now. He's terribly upset.
He is? Well, look, could you please help me out?
Henry, have you gotten into some more trouble?
Mary, all I want you to do is deliver a note to Agnes Lawson, see?
Henry, I'm not going out tonight.
I mean, the first time you go by Agnes's house, could you give it to her? Isn't that strange?
What's the matter?
Well, I wrote it over to Aunt Harriet's a few minutes ago when I was paying her back. Paying her. I wonder where I could have put it.
Henry, you mean you're running around with Agnes?
Mary, what put an idea like that in your head? Just because you happen to be walking down the street with a girl, and you go into Haven's drugstore and you think, well, gee, I might as well buy the poor kid a Sunday, is no reason for her to jump to a conclusion and think, gee whiz, where can I put that note?
What's that?
I remember distinctly. I put it Aunt Harriet. I paid Aunt Harriet the money. Paid Aunt Harriet for the money, and when I went into her kitchen and sat down at the table and started writing.
Henry, are you home?
Yes, Father.
Stay where you are. I'll be right down.
Oh boy, what do you suppose? Gee, has this been a day?
Henry, I certainly feel sorry for you.
Don't tell anybody, Mary, but I just got kicked out of Latin today.
Honestly?
And Muriel. Do you know what Muriel did to me?
What?
And do you know what Kathleen did?
Henry.
Yes, Father.
Mary, would you mind leaving the room for a few minutes?
No, Father. If you'd rather I wouldn't stay here, why, naturally.
Henry.
Yes, Father.
Son, I don't know how to begin.
Yes, Father.
Naturally, every young man, that is, at least almost every young man, at least every young man that's...
Yes, Father.
What I mean to say is that it isn't always our fault. Naturally, sometimes it's...
What's that?
But in your case, Henry, in your case, I'm afraid I can't... Frankly, I can't see your point of view.
My point of view, Father?
Yes, that's one way of putting it.
Yes, I think I know what you mean. In fact, look, I've been a little worried about myself.
Yeah?
Henry, Homer Brown is at the front door.
Homer Brown is? Oh, Father, could I please just speak to Homer for 1 second?
Yes, go on.
And then I'll be right back.
Don't bother.
Henry, did you hear me? Homer's here.
I heard you, Mary. Where's my baseball bat?
Listen, Henry, what's the big idea?
What do you mean, what's the big idea? And will you please close our front door?
I'll close it when I go out. I know all about your trying to cut me out with Agnes. And Henry, she's my girl.
Homer, what do you talk to me like that for? I never even thought of Agnes. And how about you and Kathleen?
What do you mean by a thing like that?
Last night and the night before. And gee whiz.
Listen, Henry, don't you realize why I was taking out Kathleen?
No, I don't.
It was to make Agnes jealous.
What's that?
Sure. Gee whiz, she was beginning to take me for granted.
She was?
Sure, and then you had to buy her a Sunday and spoil the whole thing.
I know, Homer, but... You mean Kathleen wasn't...
Boy, are you dumb.
Now, wait a minute, Homer. What about Muriel?
Oh, that was just a coincidence.
Hello, Henry.
What? Who's that?
It's Kathleen. I'm out here on the front porch. May I come in?
Sure. Gee whiz, hello.
I just happened to be passing by, and I saw your front door was open, and I was just wondering, Henry, if you wouldn't like to come over tonight.
To me? Well, sure. Yes.
Oh, my goodness, what's going on here?
Oh, hello, Aunt Harriet.
Well, what's the front door open for? Henry, where's your mother?
Why, I guess she's out in the kitchen, Aunt Harriet.
I've got to see her right away. Alice?
Henry, what have you got the baseball bat for? Why, are you putting it away for the winter?
Alice, are you in the kitchen?
Yes, Harriet, I'm out here with Sam.
Oh.
So that's that, Alice.
And Sam got a good talk with him?
Yes, Alice, I've got him all straightened out.
Alice, what do you think happened? You won't believe it.
What is it?
I'm going to lose my Iceman.
What?
Yes, Alice. And I don't know whether it's a good thing or not.
How do you know you're going to lose him?
I just found this note in my icebox. And, Alice, I didn't dream he felt that way.
May I see it?
Here it is.
I think it would be better if we did not go on any longer this way. Harriet, what does he mean this way?
Delivering ice to me, I suppose. Go on, read the rest.
Now that I have cooled off, I realize that neither one of us could have been really happy. Harriet, just how far had this gone?
Well, not so very far, Alice. I'd given him a piece of pie now and then. But I never dreamed he was going to take it seriously.
This rebroadcast of the Aldrich family is a presentation of the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Thanks for listening to Gee Whiz. If you'd like to learn more about me, John Henderson, you can read a one-paragraph biography at thisdaybenny.com/contact. And have a happy Valentine's Day.